Welcome back to Chapter 1 of our DIY Organizational Design course. We went into some detail about some key functions and sub-functions of an organization, and how they could potentially be mapped out, in the process of embarking on an organizational design journey in Chapter 1.1. We'll now get into a basic model that details the process through which we'll design and get to our desired end state, which is to arrive at the model of a truly optimized, data-driven organization. This model will help us unpack each of the functions we discussed in Chapter 1.1, in relation to the role that each function plays, in the process of executing on the desired organizational strategy, as well as how each function relates to each other, to ensure that this strategy execution endeavor is successful. Right then, let's get going. So our first consideration is the key ingredient in any successful organization. It's people. The people have to perform tasks in a guided manner, in order to reach an objective that ultimately contributes to the execution of the strategy, from an individual and team perspective, which then contributes to the role of the whole function, which then contributes the overall organizational strategy. The guiding of the performance of these tasks is what we usually call processes. Some of these processes require mechanized activities, some of which were previously performed by people, and some of which may form part of the core offering of the business. These mechanized activities are performed by systems. For example, mechanized activities previously performed by people can include things like accounting, bookkeeping, and other similar administrative activities. Examples of mechanized activities that may form part of the core offering of the business include things such as screening a movie in a cinema. It is likely an activity that was mechanized from the onset from a technological perspective, because effectively the mechanized technologically driven activity itself is effectively the business model. All of these systems generate mountains of information as they play their part in the organization's strategic and operational activities, what has now become the lifeblood of any business worth its mettle in this technologically evolved business landscape: the data. The source of this data can include user input, the modification of the user input to transform it into something else, as well as the data that systems themselves generate to perform core business activities, as well as to tell on themselves. For example, in an administrative context, user input information can include entering a customer's purchasing information into an order system, including updating the progress of the order fulfillment process at each step. All of this can be considered to be user-generated information, or commonly, data, within this context. The order system will create its own timestamps as it tracks the order through the fulfillment process. It will update databases such the customer's information into a customer profile database. If this is a new customer, things such as the customer's order history, and if there's inbuilt analytics into the system, it might generate its own customer profile inferences, such as preferred profile preferences, spending level profile based on credit card information such as the type of card the customer used, and so forth. The system will also generate data, in terms of telling on itself, such as the amount of power it is now using as a result of a given rate of growth of the size of databases, or the amount of storage it has left after a given period of trading activity. This can be considered as system-generated data. Now consider that the business is a DIY candle-making shop, where customers can come in and DIY their own mood-modifying candles, based on the type of ingredients used, mainly pheromones from a mood modification perspective. The customer can select the desired size of the candle, the kind of glass they would like their candle to be stored in, the kind of wax the candle should be from a combination of available wax bases such as coconut oil, palm oil, soy, paraffin wax, and so forth. Customers also get to choose the kind of scent they want, and they can even create their own scent if they wish, along with the kind of mood that they want, where they would be guided to the type of pheromone required to achieve that mood, be it a calm mood, a romantic mood, a sensual mood, and such. This business has a machine that does all of this for the customer, through a set of mechanized processes that prompt the customer to make a selection, and then perform an activity based on the said selection. Unlike the administrative order system we've just talked about, this is a system that is core to the product and service offering of the business, and as such, a core part of its business model. This system will also generate its own operational and strategic data, as it performs its mandated activities for the business. The customer's ingredient selections can be considered user input. Creating a candle model based on the customer's selection can be considered system-generated data as it relates to the operational process, and also, for example, creating a track record of how much wax of a certain type of scent oil the system still has available after each candle production cycle. This, along with other info such as wax dispenser clogging state, or number of candle production cycles available before a specific set of ingredients run out, can be considered as data this system generates to tell on itself. Speaking of data, that's our last, but very much not least, consideration. As we said, data is the lifeblood of any organization that has any chance of not only surviving, but thriving, in this new technology and AI-driven emerging normal. The data carries information about the organization's past, present, and if used well enough, future. The data is only useful if it is accurate, and it is only as accurate as it is collected, mainly from systems, managed and used, mainly through processes, housed and stored, mainly through designs and models by, you guessed it, people. People need insights for better decision-making. Processes have data and insights, inputs and outputs as they collectively form the operational model of the organization, and systems use processes and data to optimally play their role, at the right time, in the right manner. Furthermore, the people, processes, and systems are key components to how successful an organization will be in leveraging data, primarily for survival, and ultimately, for success, which is why these four components are strongly linked and form the core foundation in the process of designing an effective and optimized, data-driven organization.